So, in honor of the Utah Hockey Club coming to the NHL next season and the fact that they just literally selected their first ever draft pick in franchise history, which funny enough was TJ Iginla, who is Jerome Iginla's son. What an absolute memory forever. I'm going to be going ahead and throwing the Utah Hockey Club into NHL 24 with their new updated jerseys, and we're going to be trying to win them a Stanley Cup. Obviously, Arizona winning a Stanley Cup never really went well for them, but hopefully here in Utah, things can be different and the team can be much, much different. So let's take a look first off at the roster as we are June 26, 2024. I went in and made sure that we got the Sergachev trade done, so he is now a member of Utah, up to a 91 overall at 26 years of age. We got rid of Geeky and Moser, also threw in that second round pick, I believe it was. But I mean, everybody else pretty much is going to be the same. I went ahead and drafted TJ Iginla in the draft just to make sure things were more accurate to real life, and now we are in the re-sign phase. We got to get some guys back, re-sign them, and try to actually win a Stanley Cup here in Utah. We did the Utah Icemen, but obviously we only won one Stanley Cup in 10 years. A lot of the times making the conference finals, but losing. But I mean, hopefully things can be different here in this video. I made sure to qualify all my RFAs to get that done. There are some UFAs like Boyd and Dermott, but I don't think I'm going to bring them back. Instead, I'll look for an upgrade in free agency. We do have Harabel, who we know gets up to a 90 overall, but for some reason has like 0 trade value, so he's a 73 at 19 years of age. Now in free agency, I went out and got Brady Shea on a 4-year deal, and also Vladimir Tarasenko for $10 million. Yes, the cap is steep, but it's only 2 seasons, so after 2 years, he'll be gone, and we don't have to pay him any longer. But just so that we can compete right out of the bat here in year number 1, I picked up a defenseman and a forward that I think we do desperately need. And here is the first blockbuster trade I want to make. I want to go after Askarov. He can get up to like a 92 overall in this game. For Harabel, a first 2 second-round picks. And the Nashville Predators have totally rejected it, so we're probably going to have to sweeten the deal a little bit. Maybe I throw in another first-round pick. They will accept the offer, and they have. It is a no-brainer for them to say yes, as we have our starting goaltender of the future, who grows pretty quickly in this game. And I decided on giving Barrett Hayton the $11 million 3-year contract because, honestly, I want to have him back. I want to have him locked up. We had the cap space to do it, so if I don't think he's performing well, I'll honestly just trade him and get rid of that $11 million. He usually does not simulate that well in this game anyways, so, and I mean, for an 86 overall to ask $11 million is kind of wild. I definitely did not expect that right out of the gate. Now, heading in the inaugural season of the Utah Hockey Club, this is what our roster currently looks like. We got Keller, Cooley, Tarasenko on that first line, Gunther, Hayton, Maselli, who is an 85 at 23 years old. Our third line's also pretty decent. We got the son of Shane Doan there centering the third line defensively. Sergachev, no doubt, is our best defender, 91 overall. Brady Shea, I could throw him up on that first line. And then we have a +5 there. The rest of our D-core isn't great, but Dmitry Simashev will grow high to like an 87, 90. I've seen that happen before. And in the goal, we have an 85 overall Yaroslav Askarov, already at 22 years old. This dude is a medium elite, or actually high elite potential, 85 overall goaltender. Also, we will not be naming a captain in Utah yet. We gotta wait for a guy who is worthy enough of that honor. And also, TJ Iginla, he will be playing in the WHL or the CHL, wherever the hell he played, as he is not ready. He's only like a 75 overall, so I elected not to start him on the team this season. If you guys do enjoy videos like this, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, all that good jazz. Turn on notifications so you get notified when I go live or post a video. And now it is time to go ahead, simulate, and try to win the Utah Hockey Club a Stanley Cup here in NHL 24. Now, overall, my plan is to get a bunch of young players, sign them long-term on cheap-ass contracts, draft very well, and build a juggernaut of a team here in Utah. I know now that I got to start lowballing young guys and signing them very long-term so they are locked up and I do not have to worry about them. And in year number 1, it looks like the Utah Hockey Club have actually made the postseason. 44 wins, 34 losses, 4 in overtime, 92 points, 3rd in our division behind Dallas and Colorado. Honestly, was not expecting a 44-win season, but my God, will I ever take it. Colorado was the best team in the league, winning 52 games. Boston was up there, Calgary, New York, Edmonton, Florida. How far down were we? We were 13th in the entire league, so it wasn't like we were one of the best teams in the NHL. But at the end of the day, a 44-win season is pretty damn impressive for the first season in our franchise's history. Clayton Keller is going to lead our team with 32 goals and 84 points. Maselli had 59. Tarasenko had 58 and 28 goals, so that was a pretty goddamn good pickup. Sergachev had a big season, 56 points. Barrett Hayton was up there, as well as Logan Cooley and Dylan Guenther. And if we take a look at Askarov, 1 shutout, 35 wins, and a .911 save percentage at 22 years of age. This dude is going to be a monster in his prime. Now for the entire league, Austin Matthews will lead in goals with 75 and points with 118, followed by Cale Makar, who had 108. Kucherov was up there. Nylander had a good season. McDavid, only 40 goals and 103 points. Draisaitl also didn't have a great season. I mean, scoring-wise, he did with 56. Braden Point was up there. Stammer had 99, and shout out Ovi. Our first ever playoff series will consist up against the Dallas Stars, who we know have a very good team, a very experienced team, so I'm not really expecting to win here, just to gain some experience and hopefully be better for next season. Somehow this Utah team just swept the Dallas Stars in round number 1. I mean, we pretty much dominated them as well. 5-1 wins, 6-4 victory, 3-2, and 2-1. As now we face the Colorado Avalanche, who are another great team, the President's Trophy winners in the sim. Absolutely destroy the Colorado Avalanche in 6 games. And now in the conference finals, we have the Calgary Flames. Can we actually go on in year number 1 and take home the Stanley Cup? Are you serious? Somehow, some way, the Utah Hockey Club are going to play in the Stanley Cup Finals up against the Rangers. Honest to God, I have no idea how we got here. I mean, our D-core honestly is pretty rough, but somehow we dominated Dallas, dominated Colorado, had our toughest series against the Calgary Flames, and now we face the New York Rangers, who we know simulate very well. Can Utah go on in their very first season in the NHL and take home the Stanley Cup? And in season number 1, somehow the Utah Hockey Club will go all the way, beating the Rangers in Game 7 in Madison Square Garden. Somehow we got the job done. I honestly have no idea how. I mean, our goalie is decent with an 85 overall. Our offense is pretty good, but our defense is surely lacking. But I guess it did not matter. GM passed it in his very first season as a general manager in Utah. And their very first season as a team, as a franchise, will get the job done, as Mikhail Sergachev will win the Conn Smythe. 4 goals, 24 points. He's our captain as well. Okay, I did not name him the captain, but you know what? I'll run with it. Conn Smythe winner. You can be the first ever captain to raise the Stanley Cup here in Utah, as we got the job done, doing what the Vegas Golden Knights could not do in real life, as they did get dominated by Washington back in 2018. But there it is, the Stanley Cup awaiting. Mikhail Sergachev, who got traded from Tampa Bay, thought it was going to be a bad season he'd have here in Utah. Instead, he's going home with the 3rd Stanley Cup in his career, as the Utah Hockey Club have gone all the way in their inaugural season. Now, taking a look at the playoff points, we got Clayton Keller, who scored 11 goals and 29 points. How did he not win the Conn Smythe? Logan Cooley at 28. Sergachev was up there. Obviously, his defense definitely helped us out. Barrett Hayton at $11 million. He should be producing. I mean, that's a big-ass contract. Nick Schmaltz at 21. Tarasenko, 19. Our offense was just out of this world, dude. And Yaroslav Askarov, look at that. Allowed 3.2 goals a game, but he did have a .911 save percentage, 1 shutout. And of course, the most important stat of all, 16 wins. Austin Matthews is going to take home all the awards. The Norris will go to Cale Makar. Obviously, Sergachev, the Conn Smythe. Linus Ullmark, the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Sasha Barkov. Shout out to the Anaheim Ducks getting the 1st overall pick, moving up from 2nd to 1st place, while San Jose moved down and St. Louis moved down to 3rd. Now, with the 32nd pick, I want to lock up Gabriel Diego. I know I just had him in one of my videos, but at the end of the day, I mean, the dude is an elite medium overall goaltender. Pretty high trade value, can get up to like an 87, 88 overall. We know he grows. We know he can be a solid backup goalie, or maybe trade bait if we want to upgrade our team in some way or fashion. All right, now this move could be honestly very risky, but Leon Draisaitl is in free agency as an unrestricted free agent, a 97 overall, and I want to go for him. So I'm moving Barrett Hayton for a 1st round pick, $11 million off the book that we can clear here. And I mean, Seattle, I probably could have got another first-round pick from them, but I don't even care right now. I'm just locked in on getting Leon. Now, if this trade doesn't go through, I have no idea how I'm going to get rid of... Oh my god, there's no possible way I'm going to be able to get a first-round pick for Nick Schmaltz. A 2027 from Montreal, and the trade has been accepted. Thank the good Lord. Now, we should have up to $18 million in cap space to spend. I might offload one more contract because I'm going to be signing Leon to a very massive deal. Now, the last contract I'm offloading is Loston Krause, who makes $4.8 million for Smith, who is a depth forward, and a second-round pick from Nashville, and they are totally rejecting my offer. I might have to throw in a 5th, a 6th, and a 7th to sweeten the deal just a tad. And there we go. Nashville considers it a done deal. Also, I would like to point out that Evan Bouchard is an unrestricted free agent with franchise medium potential at a 91 overall, 25 years of age. Instead, we're going after Draisaitl, who is an unrestricted free agent. Now, a lot of you guys are going to say overpay, but I mean, we're not going to go 7 years with this sim. $17 million, 17.5 for a 97 overall Leon Draisaitl. Book it in. Hopefully, he does end up accepting our offer. I mean, we literally just won the Stanley Cup. I'm giving him way more money than he probably will get offered. And Leon was extremely happy to accept my offer. We just got a bona fide superstar for the rest of this simulation. One of the best players in the world at a 97 also. So the back-to-back is not out of the question just yet. With the remaining money, I went out and got Jamie Benn and Pius Suter, 2 depth forwards that will definitely help us out because we did trade a lot of forwards, a lot of value from our forward core for Leon Draisaitl. So hopefully, oh my god, Dylan Guenther's been tendered an $8 million deal. We don't have the necessary cap. Oh my god. Minnesota is actually screwing us right now. Either we can free up the cap space, which I mean, that's a lot of cap space, or we can take the 1st, 2nd, and a 3rd round pick. I think I'll take the compensation. As I mean, we are going to lose Dylan Guenther, who can grow to like an 87, but we do have TJ Ginla, who gets up to a pretty high overall. Should be ready by either this season or next season to start in the league. What a crazy-ass offseason for the Utah Hockey Club, man. From Stanley Cup champions to signing one of the best players in the world to losing a lot of their forward core. Now heading into our 2nd season as a franchise, honestly, our offensive core has taken a slight step back, but we'll recover at the end of this season, and we'll have a ton of cap space considering Tarasenko's deal is up. But we do have Keller, Cooley, and Draisaitl on the first line. Jamie Benn with Pius Suter and Vladimir Tarasenko. And then our bottom 6, we don't really have the greatest depth. I will put Maselli on the 2nd line. Defensively, though, we are pretty good. Sergachev and Shea, Soderstrom, Simashev, Valimaki, and Dursey, all above an 83 overall and above. And then we got Yaroslav Askarov, a 90 overall goaltender, with Connor Ingram as our backup. So defensively and goalies, we are very strong. Offensively, we might struggle to put the puck in the back of the net a little bit this year. And luckily, we did lock up Logan Cooley long-term. I sent him a contract extension of $8 million for 5 seasons, and he was happily able to accept that deal. So he's locked up long-term. We got to start drafting well with the draft picks that we did pick up from the other teams. Make sure that we have a competitive season and just, I mean, regroup in the offseason, get rid of Tarasenko, sign some better forwards to make our forward core deeper. Now, despite all the moves in the offseason, we really did not miss a beat. 47 wins, 23 losses, 12 in overtime, 106 points at the top of our division, and we were 4th in the entire NHL behind Montreal, Vancouver, and Edmonton, who did lose Draisaitl. I guess they had the money to re-sign Bouchard after losing Dry. 54 wins on the season, so a very good year by Utah yet again. There it is. There is exactly what I was looking for. Draisaitl had 49 goals and 125 points. Clayton Keller had 30 goals and 107 points himself. Tarasenko had a good season. Logan Cooley has been growing very nicely. Sergachev's going to be good. Maselli, Ben, all those good players. And then Yaroslav Askarov, dude, a .921 save percentage, 6 shutouts and 42 wins. Yeah, we can definitely create a dynasty here in Utah, no doubt about it. Now, for the entire NHL, Draisaitl will lead in scoring with 125, followed by Keller's 107. Braden Point, nobody else even scored 100 points. That's kind of wild. Bedard was up there, though, 43 goals and 93 points as a 20-year-old. On the goal side, though, Matthews will lead with 55 on the season, followed by Matthew Tkachuk, who had 52. Draisaitl was up there at 49. Kaprizov had a good year. Tage Thompson is back. And David Pasternak. Now, for goalies, Yaroslav Askarov would have 1 win less than Thatcher Demko, who led all goaltenders. But for shutouts, it will go to Igor Shesterkin, who did have 8. Askarov, again, was up there with 6. and a 921 save percentage. So I will never, I mean never complain about that. That is awesome goaltending from my 90 overall 23-year-old. As now in the first round of the playoffs, we are going to be playing the Winnipeg Jets, the whiteout in Winnipeg. Obviously, last season going all the way, winning the Cup. I'm hoping to go back-to-back here and honestly create a dynasty in Utah right off the bat. And there it is, EA Sports balancing it all out. I mean, we had a way better team this season, and somehow we lost 9-2 in a playoff game to the Winnipeg Jets. 3-0 in the elimination game. I mean, there's not really much I can do. EA decided that they don't want to allow me just to win every single season, so that is why we lost in 5 games in the first round to the Jets. And shout out to the Vancouver Canucks for getting it done for the first time in their franchise history, beating Toronto in 6 games. You mean to tell me Toronto made it all the way there just to lose? Yeah, the streets in Toronto are definitely not safe after that loss. Draisaitl will take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. The Maurice Richard will go to Matthews, the Norris to Evan Bouchard, Pedersen, the Conn Smythe, Askarov will take home the Vezina, and the Selke will go to your mom's Aho, Sebastian Aho. And there it is, the Utah Hockey Club get the first overall pick from the trade that we gave to Minnesota. Who do we send to Minnesota? I can't even remember if it was Barrett Hayton, if it was maybe Nick Schmaltz. But it does not matter. Not only do we got the first pick, but we also have the 10th pick in the draft. Oh my God, I am cooking. And I mean, taking a look at the players available, Joe Iginla is there, so we could team up Tej and Joe, but I think I have to go with Gavin McKenna. Franchise high potential, playmaker, centerman. I mean, literally the future of our franchise. Similar style as Nathan McKinnon, and he's NHL ready. Welcome, Gavin McKenna, to Utah. An 84 overall right off the jump. Unfortunately, Joe Iginla went 5th overall to the Vegas Golden Knights, so with the 10th pick, we're not going to be able to select him. But who is available here? Honestly, I think we go with Ivar Stenberg. He's a medium elite potential, NHL ready in 1 season, and he's got a similar style of Joe Thornton, a two-way forward who has great playmaking abilities. Only had oh my God, 5 goals and 6 assists in 48 games played. That's not great, but we're going to select him 10th overall. And there it is, top 6 medium potential. I'll take that as a centerman, also a playmaker. Now, I think we go with a defenseman here. We could go with Baldwin, McConan, or even Benson, but I want to go with Lombardi. Tim Lombardi, defensive defenseman. I don't know what his potential is, but he's NHL ready in 3 seasons. So he's a bit of a work in progress. Welcome to the Utah Hockey Club, brother. And you are a top 6 medium potential. So that is not great at a 61 overall. Now, the only free agent acquisition that we got was Mason Marchment for a depth forward. He was an 84 overall, only asking for 3.5 mil on a 2-year deal. So it was pretty easy to go after him, as we did not have a lot of cap space. We re-signed everybody in the free agency, or not free agency, the re-sign phase. And now we head into year number 3, hopefully having more success in the playoffs. We do got to get Soderstrom back. He's an RFA. I qualified him. Hopefully he will return to the team. There we go. We got Soderstrom back for 1 more season. And Josh Doan is back, as I qualified him. We also lost Vladimir Tarasenko. I let him walk in free agency because he was a 34-year-old at 87, going to be asking for way too much money. Now, as we head into season number 3, we got a very loaded and very young forward core. Gavin McKenna beyond that first line, 84 overall, alongside a 97 Draisaitl and 92 Clayton Keller. We also got Butt alongside Cooley and Maselli, and then Marchment, Doan, Fetnoff. Defensively, I mean, Sergachev and Shea, maybe the best D pair in the entire league. We also have Simashev, who now is up to an 86 with Soderstrom, Dursey, and Valimaki, and in goal, a 90 overall. I can't believe he hasn't grown higher than a 90. He should be honestly up to like a 92 at this point. Fresh off of his first ever Vezina. 24 years old, Yaroslav Askarov. And for anyone wondering on Tej Iginla, he will probably be ready next season. He's a 78 overall. I'll leave him in the minors for 1 more season and then maybe bring him up at the end of the year. Maybe he could be on the 4th line right now, but I do not want to stunt his development. Yet again, Utah will go ahead and have a great season. 46 wins, 29 losses, 7 in overtime, 99 points. 3rd in our division, as the Boston Bruins won 55 games on the season, followed by the New York Rangers, who also won 55, 1 less point than them. Vancouver was up there, Winnipeg, Colorado. Utah was top 8, so that's a plus. I mean, for 3 goals a game we were scoring. Offensively, we're good. Defensively also. Wow, offensively, we definitely took a step back. Clayton Keller, 30 goals, 94 points. Draisaitl still had 42 goals, but only 89 points, so not the same season he had last year. Logan Cooley had a good year. Gavin McKenna as a rookie was, I cannot ask for anything better. 22 goals and 64 points. Sergachev was good. Maselli. And if we take a look at Askarov, 29, 23, and 6. And honestly, his worst stats of his career. So maybe that was the reason why we did not have a 50-plus win year. Jack Hughes is going to end up leading everybody in scoring with only 99 points. So as a whole in the NHL, scoring was down. For the goal side, the leader will be McDavid with 51. So yeah, the NHL was much more defensive this season than the prior years of the simulation, as we are going to have to play the Colorado Avalanche in round number 1, who are an offensive juggernaut. Luckily, we did sweep Colorado in the first round, as we now face the Winnipeg Jets in round number 2. Got rid of the Jets in 6 games, and now in the conference finals, we face the LA Kings. And yet again, for the second time in 3 seasons, Utah has made the Stanley Cup Finals. This time up against the New Jersey Devils. We faced the Rangers the first time around, and now New Jersey, as we did defeat LA in Game 7. So can we go on and create a mini dynasty, winning our 2nd Stanley Cup in 3 seasons? The Utah Hockey Club have done it. 2 Stanley Cups in 3 seasons here in Utah. This is only our 3rd season in the state of Utah, and we already are multiple time Stanley Cup champions, as we are going to go down as a mini dynasty. Not done yet. Obviously, if we win another one, we definitely are a dynasty, but I mean, come on, Utah. How on earth are we pulling this off year after year? As our free agent acquisition, Draisaitl, 12 goals, 39 points, led our team. Yes, he's also the captain. Sorry, Sergachev, you were never meant to be the captain. As soon as I signed Leon here, I knew I was going to put the C on his sweater. And there it is, the Stanley Cup yet again for the 2nd time in 3 years, coming back to Utah, finally winning it in Utah as well, which honestly makes this way more sweeter, as here comes Leon Draisaitl coming to collect the Stanley Cup for the first time in his career, as the Utah Hockey Club are at the top of the hockey world. That was honestly a little bit of a tongue twister, but it's all right. We're at the top of the hockey world. We're dominating, and let's keep this mojo going. Now, obviously, in the playoffs, Draisaitl was our best player, 12 goals, 39 points. Clayton Keller was good. Gavin McKenna, as a rookie, was almost point per game, 6 goals, 21 points. Sergachev had 14, and for Askarov, oh my god, a .939 save percentage, 3 shutouts, and 16 victories. Maybe the Conn Smythe honestly could have gone to him. He was probably the 2nd or 1st best, you could argue, on our roster. But at the end of the day, we honestly are probably just beginning. We could create a dynasty here in Utah. Jack Hughes is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. The Maurice Richard will go to McDavid. Evan Bouchard, back-to-back Norrises. Obviously, the Conn Smythe to Leon. The Vezina to Allmark, and the Selke will go to Matty Beniers. So here we are in the offseason, trying to clear up some cap space, giving away Brady Shea, who makes $6.5 million for Lacombe. Also threw in some draft picks to make this trade work, and luckily it was accepted by Anaheim. And luckily we got Dmitry Simashev locked up long-term for 5 seasons at only $6.2 million. Now moving along, we do have a very good roster. Gavin McKenna, 87 overall. I thought he would grow a little bit better, but I mean, he only had 60 points on the season. Logan Cooley up to an 88 as our 2nd-line center. We also have Maselli with Fedotov. Our 3rd line is very lethal. TJ Ginla making his NHL debut at 21 years old. Defensively, still very good. I would put Simashev on the first D pair, but then we get a -2 on our top 6. So I'm just going to leave Simashev and Sergachev on different pairings. And in goal, an 89 overall Yaroslav Askarov. So he actually fell down 1 more overall after a pretty rough season. Hopefully he can bounce back. Only 25 years old, so he still is young. He is not old by any means. He can still grow up to like a 91, 92, and this roster can still compete for Stanley Cups. What a very weird record to start off the season. We are 18-5-8, or actually 18-5-9 now, so 9 overtime losses in the month of December. We still got like half the season to go here. So moving along, Utah is going to have another great season. 46 wins, 24 losses, 12 in overtime, 104 points, 1st in the Central Division. And if we take a look at the entire NHL, we would end up being the 5th best team behind Edmonton, Florida, New Jersey, and Toronto, winning 57 games on the season. New Jersey obviously had a good team, as well as Florida and Edmonton. Leon Draisaitl is going to be the leader of this team. 53 goals, 126 points, followed by Keller, who had a great season himself. 37 goals, 104 points. Gavin McKenna, 43 goals, 98 points. Only 20 years old, so he's still very young in his career. Logan Cooley had 75. Sergachev, 52. Fedotov had 51. I mean, overall, we just have a very, very good team. Askarov, 40, 18, 11, one shutout, and a 9-12 save percentage. Austin Matthews will go ahead and lead the entire NHL in goals with 88 and points with 132, followed by Draisaitl. He was up there. Nylander had a good season, as well as Clayton Keller. And Cole Perfetti, 25 goals, 104 points. Definitely did not expect that. Also, our young gun in Gavin McKenna was up there for points with 98. And for goals, I mean, Matthews had 88, over a goal per game. Draisaitl, 53. Thompson, 52. This Calcio guy had 58. Very young, 21 years old. Sam Reinhart was up there. Braun, who's a young guy himself. And now in the first round of the playoffs, we are going to be playing the San Jose Sharks. We would end up sweeping San Jose in the first round, and then we move on to face the Winnipeg Jets in round number 2. Somehow we did sneak by a Game 7 overtime victory against the Jets, and then we face the LA Kings in the conference finals. So 4 more wins, and then we get back to the Stanley Cup finals for back-to-back seasons. And unfortunately, it looks like our playoff run will end to the LA Kings in 6 games in the conference finals. As we were down 0-3, we tried to claw our way back, but it was just unsuccessful. I mean, you fall down 0-3 in a series, you're almost guaranteed to lose, as the LA Kings would eventually go on and win the Stanley Cup, dominating Tampa Bay in 5 games in the finals. If we take a look at the postseason, Draisaitl was our best player, only had 20 points in 17 games, 9 goals. I mean, point per game, but I expected a little more out of a 97 overall. Logan Cooley was okay. I mean, Gavin McKenna was all right. Clayton Keller okay. And what about Askarov? He had a 915, so he did his job. Austin Matthews is going to dominate all the awards. Quinn Hughes is going to take home the Norris. Kaliev will win the Conn Smythe. The Vezina to Schmidt, and the Selke will go to Timmy Stützle. All right, so here is our lineup in the 5th and final season of the video. That is right. One more year to try to win our 3rd Stanley Cup of the video and cement ourselves as a dynasty in the NHL. We got Draisaitl, McKenna, and Keller on that first line. McKenna is up to a 93 now. We also have Logan Cooley with Fedotov and Tej, Iginla, Maselli, Doan, and Butt. And then our 4th line is pretty decent defensively. We're not as good as we used to be. We still got Sergachev and Simashev, but Valimaki with Dursey, our bottom pair, isn't great. And in goal, a 91 overall Yaroslav Askarov, which I mean should be good enough to win another Stanley Cup. Hopefully we can get it done and ride off into the sunset with one of, if not the best team in the entire league. Now we are just barely going to sneak into the playoffs in our final season. 41 wins, 33 losses, 8 in overtime, 90 points on the season. 4th in the Central, so we did make it outside of the Blackhawks, who were like 2 points back. Things got a little bit hairy for the entire league. Washington was the best team, winning 56 games. Finally, Gavin McKenna is taking over, leading our team in scoring with 101 points, followed by Leon Draisaitl, who had 52 goals and 100 points. Logan Cooley had 80. Iginla, 75 and 42 goals in his 3rd season in the league, I believe. His 2nd season in the NHL already. He's a 40-goal scorer. Absolutely insane. Clayton Keller had a bad year. If I did continue this simulation, I probably would end up trading him. Fedotov was okay. Maselli was all right. And what did Askarov do here? 30 wins, 1 shutout, and not a great season. Elias Pettersson is going to end up leading everybody in scoring with 102 points. And for goals, it will go to Austin Matthews, who put up 65 on the season, as we are going to play the Colorado Avalanche in round number 1 of the playoffs. Well, it seems like our luck has run out here in Utah. Another first round exit in overtime in Game 7 to the Colorado Avalanche. I probably should have hopped in for it, considering it was the ending of this entire video. But I mean, hey, we got 2 Stanley Cups, and the Edmonton Oilers would end up going all the way, beating Philly in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And for the playoffs, I mean, Draisaitl was our best player, 15 points in 7 games, 4 goals. McKenna had 10, Clayton Keller 8, did have 5 goals, but I mean, offensively, we really were not all there. And in goal, what did Askarov do? He had a 906, which I mean, is kind of low for him. Yeah, he allowed 3 goals against per game. We can't do that if we want to expect a Stanley Cup in return. And that is going to do it for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. We got ahead. We put Utah, the hockey club, same jerseys, similar roster. I mean, I did draft Tej Iginla, traded for Sergachev. We had them in year number 1, and we won the Stanley Cup in the first season. Then obviously a first-round exit, winning the Cup again, losing in the conference finals, and then finally in the first round of the postseason. So overall, 2 Stanley Cups in 5 years, a very successful sim. I would like to say thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Rappy Willie.